Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about transit Saturn Sextile or Trine one's natal moon. Now, this transit may manifest in the career, hard work, the father, responsibilities, discipline, being in harmony with the emotion leads, and I'm going to elaborate and expound on that. It's really, you might have more of a need, emotional need, to work hard at this time, more so than usual. The transit Saturn, some Sagittarius, it could be doing something with publishing or advertising or something. Might even be connected with sports, which might be hard work at times, whether it's an athlete or it could just be some position that's connected with it. And it might be something too when you have this transit as well. It's also a time where, just in general, I would say that the father, if applicable, and the mother, if they're both still alive and their family, they'd be more compatible at this time, more so than usual. This could indicate greater harmony with those people, and it's also about the father and authority figures and older people in general being more in harmony and agreement with that unconscious side that you express, which is the moon. If you have your moon in Gemini, like I do, it could be very vivacious, versatile, animated, witty personality. It's expressed on a subconscious level. It can also be a time where it could be very positive for very disciplined emotions at this time, not going overboard with your emotions, and being able to really, I would say, as far as your feelings go and what you're in the mood for, you may be more in the mood to do laborious work, to work hard, or do things that are career related. Natal, the transit Saturn is Capricorn as an example, could be work, or the career may be associated with construction, architecture, accounting, or dentistry, even information technology, or general mundane work. And this is the time where I would say, when you have this transit, where the reactions and responses can be more disciplined at this time. Even if you have your moon, say it's in the cervic Aries, Aries moon can have very angry, acrimonious responses to things, to say the absolute least. And if somebody has your moon in Aries, they may be able to temper, no pun intended, or be able to at least contain those angry responses so they're not overly irrational, or the angry responses are toned down at least to some degree during this transit. Now, it could also be a time where you're able to handle more responsibility in matters, the home and family and the mother, even prominent women in your life scheme. If you have, if the transit Saturn is in Scorpio, say for example, that responsibilities may be connected with recycling or something with insurance, your taxes, or will. Some examples could even be, being responsible, so to speak, for giving somebody support, whether it's moral, emotional, monetary. Some examples. Now, it can be a time as well when this transit does take place, where it's a time where you feel, at this time, where the career, is something that you just have, the right feel for, being in harmony, with what you feel like doing at this time, more so than usual. And it's a time too to being more responsible for your reactions, your responses to things. If by some chance you have or had a response to something, emotional response or reaction, where there's certain repercussions as a result of it, whether it's legal or something else, this is a time where you have to take greater accountability for it and be more accepting of that, more so than you ordinarily would, and you give a little less resistance to it. If it's something where you've been somewhat stubborn about, the repercussions or any consequences as a result of a reaction that you that may have been, that might not have been the best reaction or something that was to your detriment. This is the time again where you're apt to take greater accountability for it than you ordinarily would. And it's also a time as well when you feel, this time you're able to work hard for people in your family, for people you're close to home, with prominent women in your life. If you have your natal moon, say it's in Virgo, it could be those people may be Virgo sun, moon, or ascendant people, or simply ones that embody those characteristics. This could also be a time when you have this transit. Saturn is about limitations, and this is the time, if there's been something limiting that's been going on in connection with this transit, with the transit Saturn, depending on the sign and house it occupies, there's more of a need. Really feeling more like dealing with it at this time, more so than usual, even if it is an arduous task and you're trying to work through, those limitations. This is where you may feel more, apt to do so, more so than you ordinarily would. And it's a time as well where, this could be a time, where the father can express, may express more sympathy at this time. The right amount, what you need, is more available for nurturing at this time. And it's more a time when I would say the father could, and older people, authority figures, may be more responsive at this time, or you're at least able to respond to them more so than you ordinarily would, because again, the moon is associated with reactions and responses. And this is a time as well where it could be very propitious for business with the public at this time. And depending on, it could be, you could just be simply working, in a retail outlet, manager of a store, and maybe this could be the time where it could be very positive, even for retail sales, as an example. And also, too, anatomically speaking, okay, the moon is connected chest, the breast, the stomach, the ribs, and water retention, and the left or the right eye, depending on gender. So this is a time, if you've had any of these issues that are ongoing during this transit, it's a time where you're more apt to take responsibility for it, to take care of business associated with it, take it more seriously, and do something about it. Remember, I understand that Saturn is known as the worrisome planet and the harbinger of fear and worry and apprehension, but it can have good qualities when you have good aspects involved with it, because Saturn is also about, again, responsibility, and it can manifest in being able to take responsibility for these matters, taking those matters more seriously than you ordinarily would. And even if there's something in the home that needs some kind of restoration or renovation and some modification in the home, this is the time where you're more apt to be willing to do this and take this more seriously and get down to business. With the moon is associated again with the public, so this is the time, like if you're doing business with the public, and say if you're, for example, if your natal moon is in Gemini, you're like, like a door-to-door salesman, you might, this could be a very auspicious time for that, for doing that. As an example, if your natal moon is in Aquarius, if you're selling items that are Aquarius related, such as something associated with computers or astrology or astronomy, this could be a very beneficial time for you for that. So anyway, well, another way this transit may be expressed is about responsibility, which is Saturn, and on home, family related matters, it can be auspicious for that. Now, let's say, for example, if the natal moon is in the zodiac sign Cancer, those home-related matters can be associated with laundry or plumbing or cooking, as some examples. Another way this transit may manifest is the father, which is Saturn, can be more in harmony and agreement with that unconscious, which is the moon, that side you express. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, let's say, for example, if the moon is in Capricorn, it can be a very serious, responsible, disciplined, energy that you may unconsciously express. Could also be very auspicious for planned and premeditated, which is Saturn. Could be family, which is the moon activities. Let's say, for example, if the moon is in Gemini, it could be activities connected with mental agility or just mental stimulation in general. Mental agility games is an example. Just short journeys at this time can be another example. And also, too, this could be a very propitious and favorable period for laborious work, which is Saturn, which you feel, which is the moon, like doing what you're in the mood for. Now, let's say, for example, if the transit Saturn is in Pisces, it could be that laborious work may be associated with boating or working on docks or fishing, as some examples. And this also could be a time where it's positive for concentration, which is Saturn, on your emotional needs, which is the moon. If the natal moon is in Leo, as an example, it could be those emotional needs may include games, acting, creative endeavors, as some examples. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.